Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, EXP family. Welcome to Level Up. My name is Alyssa Specht. I'm with EXP University. I am pumped, as always, to be here with you today. And I want to take a moment, just welcome back our return viewers. Good to see you again. And I also want to take a moment to just acknowledge those who might be joining us here for the very first time. Welcome to Level Up. So, we are streaming live today on YouTube within EXP World. We're on Workplace. We are bringing you training that's going to help you level up your business, level up your life in any market. So we go live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I want you to click that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you get that notification the next time that we do go live. So as we get kicked off here today, I'm going to give you the rundown of what we're doing here, what we've got on the show for you today. Now, first, we're going to talk to Sara Delansig, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more in just a moment about that. But after we talk to Sara, we're going to kick this thing over to Marguerite Crespillo she's going to tell you about how to build a business that you love. And after that, we are talking to Kenny Trong, and he's going to give you the information that you need to help you boost your recruiting number and give you some amazing marketing tips. So, let's get into it, guys. Let's do it. I said before we're going to talk to Sara Delansig. Now, Sara here she's doing a series. She is a fellow EXP agent and owner of the boutique ISA, that's Inside Sales Agent company, that's been successful by breaking through the follow-up mold. Intriguing, right? Intriguing. So she's going to tell you what an ISA is, how to hire the right one to help you grow your business. It's going to be super interesting. So without further ado, let's toss it over to Sara Delansig.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sara Delansig. I am super excited for you all to be here on this topic, which is when should you hire an ISA? And ISAs are kind of a hot button topic right now, a buzzword in the real estate industry. Not a lot of people know about it. They've been around for a long time, but in the real estate industry, they're becoming more popular. And this is something that I've been doing for 4+ years now. So I am excited to talk to you guys about it and give you some insight and hopefully, just help educate and let you know when you should hire an ISA. So let's get into this. And before we get into when you should hire an ISA, I want to preface this with when you should not hire an ISA. And the reason for that is because every day I talk to people that, real estate agents like to throw money at things sometimes. And when they don't want to do it, especially. And I talk to people that actually can do this themselves, but they hate doing it. And I just don't think that's the best option. So that brings me to number one on when you should not hire an ISA, it's because you hate making the calls yourself. And I like to use a quote from the Conversion Queen that I found, which is, if you can't conquer your own fears of the phone or get your own appointments, how can you expect someone else to do it for you? And this is so true. And I hope you aren't mad at me for saying this, but the reality is as real estate agents, writing contracts is hard. There's other things that are hard that you do. And we as agents have a ton of things that we have to do. This is why I am in awe of people that actually sell real estate. Yes, I have my license, but I have no desire to do it. Making phone calls for me is not hard. And for a lot of real estate agents, it is. But I hope that I encourage you to find ways to get over the fear of rejection and all of the things that might keep you hold you back from making phone calls, because when you can conquer that, then you will be a better agent all around. And so I have this topic out there. I hope you find it. You can find me out, in EXP World and everything like that. And you can find ways to overcome this. But on the next thing I want to talk about, okay, so the next reason you should not hire an ISA is if you aren't able to commit to them long term. I want you to think of an ISA as like, as like a lead, or think of a lead as a seed that needs time to grow. It needs planted, it needs watered and nurtured and given sunlight and value and follow up. And right, those are things that they need. And an ISA needs to do those things until, you're ready for the harvest. So you need to be able to commit to an ISA long term, whether it's an ISA service or an ISA that you bring onto your team, because it's a critical role and they represent you. And so you want them to be consistently developing relationships with your leads, right? So that brings me to the number 3 reason that you do not want to, you should not hire an ISA that's uncomfortable, or no, that's comfortable in an administrative role and uncomfortable in an ISA role. But there's a difference in personality as far as admin roles and ISAs, I would say. And so disc profile says that an ISA is going to be a high I. My I is 99 out of 100, which is crazy, I know, but and then my D is like right around 82 out of 100. So and then it goes S, and I think it goes C and then S. But either way, that's kind of how it is. And it's flip-flop for admin roles. So the people on my team that took the disc profile that are admin, they're like almost exactly the opposite. So just think of ISAs over here, admin over here. It's completely different. However, some people can do it. And so that's not a knock on everyone. It's just, I think that the people that are comfortable in an administrative role might not be as comfortable in a role where it's, highly competitive and, a lot of communication on the phone and things like that. So the other thing when you should not hire an ISA is because you think you'll make more money, but you can barely afford leads right now. Yes, an ISA can bring in more business and should bring in more business. But if you're barely getting by right now and you cannot afford leads, and then you go hire an ISA, chances are that you're not gonna have the things dialed in that you need to have dialed in, and it's not gonna work out that well for you, and you're probably gonna spend more money before you make money, unfortunately. So I do have to talk people out of this often about hiring me, which is a whole nother story, which I will share with you sometime if you find me online. So let's get into the good stuff, right? When should you hire an ISA? Well, the number one reason you should hire an ISA is when you're too busy out there listing and showing homes to follow up with the leads yourself anymore, right? Like if you are in the car going from appointment to appointment, client to client, listing to showing, and you see those leads pop up on your phone and there's no way for you to make that call, well, that's what you need an ISA, right? Which brings me to the next reason, which is that you need to establish a better work-life balance. But I will caveat this one with the fact that if you do not have the systems in place to scale when you bring in an ISA, then you are probably going to get back to square one where you're overwhelmed, because a good ISA will bring in business and will make a lot more work for you, right? Because you're going to hopefully get the more sales and everything like that. So your systems need to coincide with that, and they need to be all moving in the right trajectory so that you don't end up back at square one where you're overwhelmed even with an ISA, because an ISA will bring in, like I said, more business, or they should. Okay, so the next reason that you should hire when you are ready to hire an ISA is when you want to grow your business while increasing profitability, right? This is where I will send you. Figure out how much you are worth hourly. And I don't know how to do this calculation off the top of my head, but I'm sure ChatGPT can tell you, or Google, if you're old school now. That's funny. But anyway, so go ahead and find out how much you are worth hourly. As real estate agents, we don't have like a hourly wage that we know, but you should know. You should know based on how many hours of work you're doing per week and all of that, and how much you put on your tax return. You should know whether you're worth $50 an hour or more. And if you are worth more than $50 an hour, well, then it might be time to hire an ISA. I would recommend it because your ISA is not going to be worth $50 an hour to begin with. They're going to work up to that. And hopefully by that time, you're making $500 an hour. And then you can scale. Obviously, that's the way it should go, right? Okay, so the other reason that you should look for when you when you're ready to hire an ISA is that you have the money to feed them leads. I guess, that goes without saying, but it should be said, silly as that sounds. Now you're like, how many leads is enough leads? They need to be able to consistently follow up with them. Now, an ISA can make anywhere from 10 calls an hour to 60 calls an hour if they're depending on the dialer and how many people pick up and what kind of conversations they're having and all these other reasons, time of day. There's so many things. But if you take that into account, on the low end, they should have, if you want to hire somebody that's doing calls for you 4 hours a day, well, then they should probably have at least 40 leads a day to call. And they can consistently follow up with the old stuff and check in with people, but you want to have enough new stuff coming in that keeps them busy, because that's the best way to get you more business and to scale. All right. And then the final thing I have is when all other areas of your follow-up system are dialed in. And this is the stuff that I want to get into for you, because as an ISA service, I own a boutique ISA company called the Inside Sales Agency, and we do not work with every real estate agent that wants to hire us. We tell them things that they need to have in place first because of something I like to call lazy agent syndrome, LAS for short. So what I found is that when I first started, my ISA company, agents would hire me and they go, oh, she has her license, so she can pull comps and she can show properties and all this stuff, even if they were out of the area. Some of them weren't, but that's not my job. That's your job. Okay. My job is to find the gold in your CRM and in your database and tell you that you need to talk to that person, right? It's not my job to pull comps for you. So the other thing I found is that those people were not necessarily motivated to show up to listing appointments, shockingly enough. So I decided that I was going to have some, rules in place for before hiring us as your ISA service, what you would have to have. And what that is, well, number one, you need to have a CRM that has, that's organized. A CRM that says buyers and sellers, has the right tags, has the right campaigns. You need email campaigns in there. And hopefully you're using video in those as well. Also, now, if you're not hiring me, you want to have a dialer. I have my own dialer. That's a whole nother thing. But, if you're going to hire someone for your team, you need to have a dialer. They can call through their cell phone, yes, but it's not going to be, that's not the way you want them to do it. Especially, I say, unfortunately, is a high turnover rate position, unless you really groom them, and there's other ways to do that and train them and lead them into an agent role. But if they are making calls through their cell phone, then it's not going to be recorded in your CRM, and then you're not going to know what happened. And then if they quit or don't show up to work, then you're not going to have that data. So that is crucial. You definitely want to have a dialer that works with your CRM and shows you exactly what's happening. So the next thing that you should have before you hire an ISA is a YouTube channel. This is just my opinion. I want to throw that out there. A lot of people are going to be like, no, Sarah, I've been doing real estate for 20 something years and I do not need a YouTube channel. Okay. I hear you. That is factual for certain types of leads. I would say realtor.com leads. YouTube channel, not so necessary, but the majority of real estate agents today are following up with online leads, AKA they're running Facebook ads, right? They're doing, they have an IDX website. Somebody's clicking on properties on their website, right? And they're having to enter their information. And then, you need to slowly nurture them over time until they convert. So a YouTube channel is really beneficial when you have community-based content regarding the pros and cons of living in Scottsdale, Arizona, or, what it is Las Vegas a good place for your family to live, right? So whatever area you are in and your leads are clicking on maybe a listing that you have, right? And so they're buyers and you're like, okay, well, I want to call these people, but 9 times out of 10, they don't pick up the phone. So my backup plan is to send value to everyone. You get value, you get value, you get value. Okay. Every single time I try to contact someone, I leave a custom voicemail, and I never leave the same voicemail twice. And then I send a text, a custom text. And this text has a link to a YouTube video in it. Now, the problem is that there are not, CRMs are still catching up to this because video texting is something that they're not quite there yet. And I won't mention any CRMs, but if you follow up what I'm saying, then you'll understand that some people aren't there yet. Some CRMs aren't there yet. And there are some that are. So for me, I have one of these. I won't mention what it is, but it actually sends a little preview of a YouTube video. So people are comfortable clicking on it. I've not found another CRM out of the common CRMs that agents use that can do this, but it is really effective because you don't want people saying stop when you are texting them right away. And so there's a certain method to that madness, which I hope I will share with you at an event or at a later date. So keep an eye out for that, or I might have already shared it in some of my older stuff. So check that out as well. But it is super important that you are adding value with every contact attempt, because we don't want to ignore the 90% that we're not contacting today, right? It takes, if you look at a contact probability arc for how long it takes to convert a lead, well, it's not here on the first call, not with most online leads anyway. You're looking at call attempt number 12 or something like that. But calls 1 through 11 are just as important, okay? And it's not just the calls, it's the text messages. So all of my clients, I ask them to have YouTube channels with community-based content, and it is crucial to the follow-up process and the sequence that we do. It might not be crucial to yours. This is just me sharing what I do, okay? All right, so the next thing that we have, you want to have in place for your ISA when you hire them is a Calendly or some type of calendar that they can schedule online. I will always live transfer, number one. That is my number one way to go. And I let all of my clients know, save this number in your phone, is hot, 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 you know, answer. But a lot of times you might be out of closing or at a family event or whatever the case may be, and you can't answer the phone, right? So you have to have a backup plan, because I don't want to go back to that call and say, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, Sarah wasn't available, but, you know, I'll have her call you later. That's not the way to do it. You don't want to do that. However, Sarah wasn't available. Let me get you on her calendar. She has some availability later this evening or tomorrow, whatever the case may be, right? So Calendly is free. I'm not paid by them to endorse it or anything like that. But there's ways to use it with the free version that'll at least sync up with all your stuff. I have like, I don't know about you guys, but I have like 10 different email addresses as a real estate agent. I'm guessing you do too. And it syncs with all of them so that I never miss a beat and everything is all exactly where it's supposed to be. So, okay, two more things. So 2 more things that you want to have before you hire an ISA. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th thing is digital marketing materials, which I already kind of touched on as part of email campaigns and everything like that. You definitely want to have digital marketing materials. These are things that you can send links of: buyer's guides, seller's guides, market updates, anything that can add value along with video. You want that stuff, and you want it to be, like I said, digital. So you can send it in a text message or in an email or something like that. And the final thing is the most important thing, which is leads. Number 6, leads. Definitely want to have leads. And we already talked about that. So I am sure you guys might have questions, and I have an amazing workplace group, which is called Inside Sales Agents General. I would love for you all to come find me on there, or find me on Instagram at Sarah_the_ISA. And this is what I do. I'm very passionate about it. I don't like selling real estate, so I hope you will come find me and check me out. Thanks so much.
Woo, folks, Sara Delansig, put your hands together. Thank you, Sarah, for coming on, and we look forward to the next part of your series. Super interesting. All right, my friends, we keep rolling on. So you want to know how to create a business that you love. All right, everybody wants to know that, right? Well, to tell us how, we're going to talk to Marguerite Crespillo, who Marguerite began her career in 1993. She's helped over 3,000 families get into their homes. She's coached, she's trained, she's mentored hundreds of people in the real estate industry. And today she is here to tell you how to build a fun referral based business. So, without further ado, let's toss it over to Marguerite.
Hello, everybody. I'm Marguerite Crespillo with eXp Realty, and I'm super excited to be here today to share some of my knowledge. I've been in real estate now for 29 years, kind of hard to believe, kind of crazy. Lived through every kind of market, good, bad, the ugly, every kind of market you can possibly imagine. But today I'm going to talk about how to really build clients for life and what that can look like to survive, not only survive, but thrive in changing markets like we're in right now. So let's talk a little bit about it. I want to tell you about the beginning. So back in the day in 1997, I represented a little gal named Linda Buckmaster. And this is her. This is me after getting thrown in the pool there. And Linda Buckmaster bought a $50,000 HUD home from me back in 1997. And at the time, she was a grandma and she had custody of her grandchildren. And she just wanted to make sure her kids always had a great place to live, right? Well, the beauty of Linda Buckmaster is that not only has she bought and sold 8 homes through me, but she has referred people who have referred people who have referred people 8 levels deep, generating over 65 referrals and still counting. And those referrals have resulted in 40 plus sales, over $300,000 in commissions over the years. And so why is that important to you? Well, today we're going to talk about a lot of different ways that you can build and deepen those relationships with people that you know and work with, and develop referrals out of this, like Linda Buckmaster did. In fact, I just closed on a transaction about 2 months ago of a gal who was part of this referral tree. So it continues to pay that residual income, a little bit like eXp's revenue share, right? Kind of cool. So let's talk about some ways that I have learned to stay in contact. What I'll tell you is that consistency is the most important thing that you can do in real estate. You know, a lot of us real estate agents, me included, are very ADD, right? We're bouncing from idea to idea to idea, always trying something new, never sticking with anything. Well, a couple of the things that I have literally stuck with my entire career, one of which is a little letter of the heart. It's a little story about me that I mail out to my database. Yes, good old fashioned snail mail. It still works. And I mail this to my database every month. A little story about me and my life and what's going on. Never really about real estate. It's occasionally about real estate. I think twice in 29 years have I actually written about real estate. One time was when the market went really crazy back in 2005. And then when it crashed in 2010, right? So I don't really write about real estate because the people that are in relationship with me know that I sell real estate. And I do include my information, my branding, my, DRE licensing and that kind of stuff on there. And it does have my information on it. So they do know I'm in real estate. But the beauty of sending these little letters is that it's much more personal, right? It's kind of like that letter you get from your Aunt Sally at Christmas telling you all the neighborhood and family gossip. Now, I'm not gossiping in my letters, but the reality is that people love to hear personal things that connect them. For example, this letter was hugely successful. My grandfather, who lived with me for many years, loved the Reuben sandwich. And so I sent out this letter that said, hunt for the perfect Reuben. And the irony is I literally got probably 40 calls, text messages, emails. Hey, you got to go to Boxing Donkey at the corner of Maine. You got to go check out this place. This place has the best. Not only that, but what that did is it enabled people to communicate with me, get on the phone, and almost always they have a referral. Hey, by the way, my Aunt Sally's thinking about buying a house, or my cousin Joe is wanting to sell his house. Can you help him out? So the beauty of this is staying in contact on a regular basis. Now, you don't have to get overwhelmed with this. You don't have to be a great writer. In fact, I've even made some mistakes over the years. One of the years we screwed up when we were mail merging the names and we were off by one name and address. And so everybody that got the letter, it didn't have their name. So I got tons of calls that year from all these people who were like, Marguerite, it had my name on it, but a different address, right? Or it had my address, but a different name. So it was a ton of fun, made a lot of corrections to our database, and got lots of connections with people out there. Now, I know you guys have probably heard this a million times, but the most valuable thing you own is your database. Remember that referral tree with Linda Buckmaster and how valuable that is? So if you do not have a database, the best time to have a database was 30 years ago. The next best time is today, right? That old quote about the tree. So what are you doing to get your database up and running and get things going? Now, one reason people don't mail to their database is they're waiting for it to be perfect. Let me help you with you guys. There's never perfect. Just like I couldn't get those words out. There's never perfect, right? So you just want to send something in the mail. Here's the other beauty of this. When you send this out, good old-fashioned snail mail, first class stamp, guess what? You're going to get some of them returned with addresses changed. Those are people that you get to clean up your database with. That's when you'll find out sometimes that they bought or sold a home through somebody else because you didn't stay in contact with them, right? Or sometimes just things happen. You know, funny story. I had this gal, Jerry, that had bought and sold probably 4 homes through me over the years. And then all of a sudden one day I get her mail back and she had bought and sold a home through somebody else. And I was hurt. I was a little devastated, like we have happened. So I sent her a little Facebook message and I said, Jerry, I said, I hope things are going well with you, but I'm just curious if I did something to offend you or hurt your feelings because I noticed you didn't buy or sell a house through me. She goes, oh my goodness, Marguerite, it was crazy. She goes, I ended up using my boyfriend's sister who just got her license. She did a terrible job. I'll never cheat on you again. True story. Next time she sold her home, she used me and moved out of state. So there you go. It's so important to stay in contact with your database. Now, I've sent a lot of different things over the years to my database. I've sent monthly newsletters. I've sent recipe cards. I've sent, sports schedules, all kinds of things. The truth is, it doesn't really matter what you send. What's most important is that you send something. Because here's the bottom line, you guys, when you build your business right, it will eliminate your competition. So I want to give you an example. This is the Heinemann family. I met them in 2002, and she was pregnant with their first baby. 15 years later, they showed up to one of my events back in the day, now with 4 little children, right? So it's so important that you stay in contact with your database. So how do you actually create clients for life? Well, you heard me say already how important, incredibly important that success is. I mean, consistency is. And really, truly, success is consistency. It's doing just a few things, the same things over and over and over again. You don't have to make things complicated. You don't have to make them extreme or elaborate. What's most important is that you are consistent. So we love to set the stage. We want to know upfront what is important to them. We want to know about birthdays and holidays and what's their favorite restaurant and what kind of special interests do they have so that we can go beyond the sale. We can do lots of things where we can help them, make them feel incredibly special. When you remember things about people, there's those sayings, love is in the details, right? Well, it's really true. And the more that you can do things customized to people and make them feel like you're really paying attention is better than ever. And so how do you really create these clients for life, right? Well, it's really important that you invest in them, get to know them, right? There's another famous quote of mine, not mine, it's the one I stole from somebody. It says to be more interested than interesting, right? And so what can you do to get to know them, their favorite restaurants, hobbies, activities, families, and pets? And if you're listening, like I said, be more interested than interesting. If you're listening, then you are learning and you're really understanding their wants and needs. Now, this can relate to a lot of different areas of life. I'm not here to talk about your relationships, but what I can promise you is that if you're really paying attention and you're focused on what is most important to them, it will help you in a lot of different areas of your life. So what are some ways that you can create these clients for life? Well, number one, start by creating wow moments. How can you make the experience memorable in a good way? Even things like showing up at home inspections with lunch, or putting together a quick housewarming party, or making sure that you're attending their signing and bringing balloons and celebrating, giving them a quick gift card to a nice restaurant that they love to eat at. These are all little things that make people feel incredibly special. How can you go the extra mile to make them happy? I promise you, it will go a long way. The next thing is, the number one complaint that consumers have about real estate agents as a whole is a lack of communication. Are you communicating effectively with your clients in the way that they want to be communicated with? These days we have, holy cow, we have text messaging and voicemail and Facebook messaging and Instagram and DMs and all this different stuff. But what is the way that communicates best with your client? For some clients, it might be good old-fashioned snail mail, right? But are you really paying attention to what that looks like and how you're communicating with them? Because it's really important. And so if you think about this, do you want one-time clients, or do you want clients for life? Recently I ended up selling a home to a gentleman. I sold him his home back in 1995. We ended up selling his mom's home. Recently sold his home. Now his granddaughter is a real estate agent and works with me here at EXP. So that's really the true value of those relationships, right? So how do you really create these clients for life? What are some ways that you can stay in contact? There's lots of different things that you can do. Keeping track of birthdays, anniversaries, special dates. Let's talk about that. There's simple ways that you can now send birthday cards, good old-fashioned physical birthday cards to people with simple systems like send out cards, and there's a few others. But you can send out birthday cards, anniversaries, special dates. Annual reviews are really important. What, in fact, is an annual review? An annual review is just like the financial review you might do with your financial advisor. It's a review of the value of your home. Does it mean you're calling them to sell their home? They're probably not ready to sell their home. But do they love knowing the value of their home once a year? Absolutely. So doing an annual review with a client to talk about the value of their home is a great way to stay in contact. Of course, there are things like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Now we have TikTok, Instagram. I mean, the list goes on and on. I just heard about something called Discord that our fearless leader, Glenn Sanford, is pushing out there. So many great ways to stay in contact, and it's really important that you spend the time to do that. Inviting people to parties and events. And as I already mentioned, monthly mailers like the letter of the heart. So again, how do you create clients for life? Lots of different ways when it comes to events and holidays and plans and things you can do. For example, this year, in just a few weeks, we're having a holiday party. Hopefully you guys are putting something together as well. You guys, these don't have to be huge, elaborate, extensive parties. They can be a variety of things, right? For example, I had an agent who was listening to me talk about this, and he says, well, Marguerite, I don't really have the money to put on a party. I said, great, let's see what we can do to get resourceful. He looked up in his local area and found movies in the park and music in the park. So what did he do? He went and invested about $100 in a pop-up tent, put his branding all over it, went out to the park that was free music in the park going on, and he set up a VIP tent. Yep, he set up his own VIP tent. So nobody said he couldn't. So he set up a pop-up tent, put out some sodas and water. I think he had some of the cornhole games and some things like that going on in his pop-up tent. And he made this awesome pop-up tent specifically for VIPs. Then he messaged that out to all of his database, his social media, his everybody that he knew, his friends and family, and he ended up doing this VIP pop-up tent. Really cool idea, right? I think it cost him maybe $200, and he got a couple sponsors to help him pay the bills. So what are some other great ideas? We're going to talk about a few ideas here in our last few minutes. So take your realtor to lunch day. So what the heck is that? Well, I have this great client, Robin, and her birthday is every year, November 15th, actually coming up here pretty soon. And so what I did is I started calling several of my clients, a few of them a month, and said, I would love to take you and some of your coworkers or friends out to lunch. Where would you like to go? And Robin every year picks this great barbecue joint down in downtown Sac, and she ends up bringing anywhere from 5 to 10 of her coworkers. I don't care how many she brings. I get a lender partner to help me cover the cost. We end up going there and buy lunch for her and all of her coworkers. And guess how she introduces me? She goes, "This is my realtor, Marguerite." And almost the entire conversation is spent talking about the real estate market. I always walk away with a couple referrals of people I can add to my database or potential future home buyers or home sellers. So go through your database and who do you have that has a birthday coming up where you can, in fact, go and invite them to lunch, to take your realtor to lunch day. It's one of my absolute favorite things to do. Some other ideas are smaller dinner parties and happy hour type of events. And let's see, housewarming parties are another great idea. Getting involved in your local community. So what can you do in your local community to get involved in charity events? Or we have lots of stuff coming up here now for the holidays. So what are some things that you can do through the holidays to help you build and grow your business? And this picture here is a picture of an event that we did. We took our top 10 people that had referred clients to us, and we put on an elaborate dinner. We had a lender partner share the cost. We got limos and got dressed up, and we took 20, them and their 10 people and their spouses, to dinner at a place called The Kitchen. It was pretty extraordinary, and we had a great time. And the buzz from that and what happened after that, I literally ended up getting 4 referrals out of it that generated over $50,000 in commissions from taking those people to this fancy dinner. A good friend of mine, Ernestine, did something after she heard me talk about events and how important they were. And Ernestine actually went through all of her gift cards. Like, I don't know about you, but some of us have these boxes of gift cards that we've been given over the years that we forget about. And she found a $200 gift card for Ruth Chris. She called 4 of her friends that she knew and said, I have this free gift card at Ruth Chris. Would you like to meet me on Thursday for happy hour? Well, they all met her there for happy hour. Out of that happy hour, each one of those people that came brought her a referral, earning her over $50,000 also in commissions. So these are just a few of the things that you can genuinely do to get out there and start working. If you have additional questions about this, I can definitely send you some links to my little ebook I made on marketing client events or holding client events. But these are some extraordinary ways for you to get out there and be in relationship with your database. I now currently have about 1,200 people in my database that we mail to every single month. I email, snail mail, call them, and do client events to them. And on average, just from my database, I do anywhere from 35 to 45 deals a year. I do no advertising or marketing other than the things that I've talked about here in this presentation. So there's lots of ways that you can do this. And what we have a tendency to do as real estate agents is complicate things. So don't complicate it. Send something out. You can change that on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be the same thing. You can go through and change what you mail. You can come up with lots of ideas, but now is the time. I'm not sure exactly when this is airing, but now is the perfect time to sit down and make a marketing calendar and a plan for what you're going to do next year to stay in contact and build and grow your database. Again, your database is the most valuable thing you own. So if you spend the time and put in the effort, your database will pay rewards. Even in a challenging market, you guys have to keep in mind, people buy and sell homes in any kind of a market. So this is when it's even more important that they want to talk with somebody that they trust, that can give them their true opinion and help them through the challenging parts of a real estate transaction. So that is actually all I have today. That was a little faster than I expected to go, but this is some great information for you that you can use, and feel free to reach out to me in any way that you would like to. And I'm more than happy to share any information in this presentation or any information to help you build and grow your business. It's my favorite thing about EXP is how willing everybody is to collaborate and get together and help. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in EXP World.
My friends, that was Marguerite Crespillo. Amazing session. I loved it. And I get the feeling, I think we're going to have her coming on the show again shortly. So we've got one more for you today. So next up, we are talking to Kenny Trong. Kenny Trong from the Fast Real Estate team. He's going to talk you through the steps that he's taken to recruit agents to his team, talking about growing from 12 to 360 members. So he knows a little bit about this. So he's going to tell you how you can utilize social media and personal branding to launch your recruiting business. So let's do it. Let's toss it over to Kenny Trong.
Hey guys, this is Kenny Chung with Team Fast or Fast Real Estate with EXP Realty. Today I'm going to kind of go over some of the things we've done to recruit to our team. We started here at EXP less than 3 years ago, actually. Next month is 3 years with 12 agents. And in less than 3 years, we actually recruited over 500 team members to our team, currently around 360 agents. I had to attribute a lot of the growth that we've done for the growth of the company through social media. You can follow us at the Fast Agents, Instagram.com. At the Fast Agents to kind of see our roster and the people and the personalities. We've been really big on personal branding. I think is why a lot of people have aligned with us. We help people. We're really strong on social media and video content. We have here, like at our office, we do like weekly agent spotlight video shoots. We do calendar theme holiday shoots like Thanksgiving, gratefulness, or Christmas. So we create a lot of content for agents to use. So in your market, you can kind of set those things up for your agents to win. Another thing too is events. In the last year, I think we've probably put on at least like 30 or 40 events just here at one of our offices in the Oakland location. We have a big warehouse here that's about 9,000 square feet, but you can totally do this on smaller size. Some of the events we had last year that were really big hits. I'm trying to think of chronological order throughout the year. We had like a Black Women in History panel. Then we had a Asian panel. We had a Latinas in real estate panel, Pride panel, Dads in real estate for Dads Father's Day, Mother's Day panel. And then cool part about how we've been able to track this, we're bringing a lot of guest speakers. Typically, we have 3 to 4 speakers on stage as panelists. We never have more than one person that's with our team or with EXP Realty. And we bring in 3 other usually influential or high producing agents. Because of that, we've been able to draw larger crowds where the agents who come speak, because of their influence, they're also able to invite. We do most of the invitations, but they're also able to attract people to come to the event to see them speak. It's great. We usually serve food and drinks afterward, have light networking before and after. Because of that, we typically, when we have an event, we probably have anywhere from 60 to 100 people on average. And every time we have an event, we walk away with at least 3 or 4 agents that wants to join our team. One of the biggest events we had recently was called Mastermind Evo. I think you can find it on Instagram. We had 9 big speakers. In fact, we had the #1 agent at the local Golden Gate Sotheby's location. Out of like 600 agents, he's #1 solo producer. And then we also had the top agent at Compass come. He's a solo 140-man producer come and speak for 45 minutes each in a bar camp style. If you guys were at EXP Con or EXP, I think it was Shareholder Summit in Florida, where you break into large groups and we kind of mastermind with one person leading the topic. We did that here. So both events were huge. That event, the 130-person event, I think we picked up 5 team members immediately after the event. They say, hey, we want to join a team. We really like the atmosphere, the vibe, the people, the culture, and the energy. Another cool event we did recently, early October, was called Real Estate Tales in the Crypt. It was based on some event that people have in the technology world called F Up Night. So at Tales in the Crypt, we had a couple of speakers speak, and then one was from our, we had 3 speakers, 2 had bailed out last minute, and 2 were ex-team members, so they aren't even on our team anymore. But they spoke, and it was about how horror stories through real estate, like bad appraisal issues, lawsuits, mediation, arbitration, open houses, like just nightmare stories. So that was a huge hit. We had a cool vibe here. It was like dark, decorated. We had a ton of furniture brought in and there's spooky drinks. So stuff like that. The events have been really huge for us recruiting, and not all events are in person at our offices. Actually, just yesterday, we also had another Moms in Real Estate. We had a really top lender speak at our Walnut Creek office. We had like 140 miles a year lender speak. Another agent from the city of Sacramento, that's an hour north of here, that's top 1% in the nation from a different brand. And then we had another team leader, broker owner locally, that's also from their brand. So yesterday, actually, none of the people who spoke on stage outside the moderator who hosted the event were from EXP, and we brought in tons of people. So from yesterday's event, we had two agents reach out and say, hey, we want to learn more about your company. So just give you examples of events. You want to bring people into your environment so you can kind of feel it. So rather than being, outbound, calling people, annoying people, reaching out to people, you want to be able to bring value through information and workshops and such. So outside of the in-person events, we do a ton of stuff online. My partner and is the director of sales and coaching for Fast Real Estate. He hosts weekly coaching calls 3 times a week in the morning. Monday, 8:30, 9:30 a.m., Wednesday and Friday. Mondays, I hop on once every while, but Mondays typically is motivation and goals for the week. And we typically have 100 people hop on these coaching calls, open to all brands, by the way, and all agents. So that's also like give people a taste of the environment where they kind of set their goals. And it's very rah-rah, very motivational. Most Wednesdays, at least twice a month, we bring in high-level guest speakers. In the past, we've had really great speakers like Chelsea Pates, Giselle Ugarte, Neil Holm, Justin Mercer, the tattoo realtor now at EXP Realty. So a lot of the stuff we bring in is typically pretty high-level people that are really focused on video and social media content. So by having this, we're helping add more training to this environment. We also do a lot of like random mastermind panels online too, and database boot camps, such like that. So yeah, events is a big part of our environment and one of our biggest reasons we've been able to grow so much. Another thing too is we use Slack to communicate with other agents. In my Slack channel, it's kind of like workplace for Facebook for you guys that are EXP. Slack is just kind of like cooler version and more geared towards like really micro topics. We have topics like off-market listings, social media, and technology tools, training and events. Said market updates already, templates, chat room, random. And then we have different channels for all of our offices. So in the Bay Area, we have 7 retail offices and 2 co-working spaces. So we have 9 offices here. And in the side channel, our training channel is probably our most popular channel. When I'm scouring online, I'm adding training in there from anyone and anywhere I see. So I'm just actually open up and kind of browse it real quick so I can tell you what we've had this week. Just give you a good example. Their training channel, we bring in anything from anyone. For example, there's a housing summit here in the Bay Area soon. Broke Agent has some cool stuff this week. RIS Media had 4 habits of successful luxury agents. Inman gave information on tips on how to change brokerages if you're considering a switch, why you should or why you should not. Tom Ferry Roadmap, he's doing a 24-day tour. Some companies doing a PR webinars for video creators. Bill Pipes and some agents did a crushing objection and mastermind closing webinar this week. And then, see, I posted that twice. Brian Buffini did a market update, and all these I just mentioned, the 10, 15 things I mentioned were all from this week. So anytime we see, and then we're not afraid to put stuff in here that are from other brokers as well. So we have a huge training library. And the markets update channel is a great place for our agents to get information. I just posted something from another brokerage. They did a chart on like breakdown of how many homes 70% of homes in the market have had 5 weeks or more in the market. There's some articles here and here from our local lending company, Fairway Mortgage, some stuff in here from The Real Deal, California Association of Realtors, Yahoo News, Real Estate News, Housing Wire, Redfin. And it's really specific to the market, like the mortgage rates or listing happening. So a lot of that stuff. So what we've done is we've invited a lot of people in the industry to our channel so they can add value to their careers. And then we run it in one spot. Another great channel we use too is we have open house channel. Our open house channel is, as it sounds like, we post available open houses in there, especially from other companies. A lot of other companies reach out to me pretty frequently, knowing that I can get their open houses filled pretty quickly. Any and every brand. And then open house channel, agents can also by themselves put in open house opportunities, and we're typically paying. So we don't have showing agents on the team. The open house listing agent is typically paying someone. I should have mixed up. Sorry, open house is open to anyone. You can just hop in. Forgot. And then we have another channel called showing requests. So I got lost there. We have a showing request channel where any agent can put in a property they need help with showing, and they're typically paying someone like $50 for a door. Maybe 3 doors for like $100 in different cities. Because our team, we span, at least in the Bay Area, about 2 hours each way. So an agent that might need help with showing, what we kind of do, if they're outside the company, we invite them into our platform. Hey, I have this great tool you can use in case you need open house help, in case you need showing help. And then once they're in the system, then they see the other 30, 40 channels, like again, the market updates, the listings channel, marketing assets, new developments. We had Zillow Flex. So like they get a whole database full of stuff. So actively, well, technically we have 1,005 people in our Slack channels, but actively I think only about 400 people are using it. With that said, I invite my entire EXP organization into this channel, and then it also helps me kind of add value to my group. But then if they want to, they can also add in other people in their marketplaces to this. So getting people a taste of what you offer is huge. We also have a channel called Aspiring Agents. We have partnerships with 2 different real estate schools. We work with the Wright brothers, and we work with CE Shop. So what we've done too, if people have expressed interest in our company and they're studying, and they told us we're studying for a test, I always reach out and say, hey, we actually have a channel called Aspiring Agents that has a lot of information on there. If you guys go on Facebook right now, your Facebook, you can go to Prep Agent. I'm in California, so you can go Prep Agents, you can go California real estate students or people studying for a test. And then typically there's a lot of studying materials in there, like pop quizzes, checklists, crash courses, PDF. I think I've downloaded like maybe 60, 70 things onto my computer. And what I've done is now take all those files from the Facebook groups for agents preparing to study for their exams and putting them in our Slack channel. So now the new agent coming in, not even a new agent, a person that's not even licensed yet is now entering our ecosystem. And then we're offering them to come to our group coaching calls. We're offering them to come to our events. And then they get to see scripts. Oh, we have channels called scripts, templates and scripts. And then they're kind of just digesting it. So it's really, really hard for an agent to find any more value than our Slack channel. And then for a brand new agent, I think we convert well over 90% of people we placed in there that are interested in getting a license. So this is where we're able to kind of like do a holistic approach. Other ways we've been able to do, let me see. Yeah, so the events is one thing I talked about. The social media is another thing. Our office spaces more recently, this is newer, but right now we're probably bringing on about 25 team members a month is our average. In our office spaces, we've now built out content rooms. Some rooms are pretty simple. We paint a couple walls, put a table in there, get big lighting, get a nice camera setup, have some like lav mics or microphones in there. But now, and give you an example here in Oakland, this is our headquarters. We set up a podcast room. We have it all painted out. We're going to set up multi-camera setups or multi-camera tripods for agents to kind of plug in and record stuff, really good lighting. We bought a TV called the Samsung Frame. It's matte finish. It looks like a painting. So that can be adjusted. And then that's our Oakland office. So that just got built out a couple days ago. It's like 95% done. In fact, a couple of people use it already. But in our Walnut Creek location, we have a 12,000 square feet building that we lease out. It's actually the old US Bank. In that place, we did what we just mentioned. We painted some stuff, put some desks up. But this week, in that location, that 12,000 square feet location actually has about 16 private rooms. We're only using like 3 or 4 of them right now, like actively. So what we're gonna do today is we bought a bunch of paint. We're gonna paint the rooms different colors. They actually look like Power Ranger colors, by the way. We have a yellow room, a blue room, an orange room, a purple room, a hot pink room, and a green room. So the agents are gonna go in and we have it all set up. So now not only will most of the rooms have really good lighting, they'll have TVs in there so you can airplane see what you're doing, tripods in there so agents can go into these different rooms and create content. And then when they create content, they're able to post it online, but also on our team. Specific to our team, we hired a video editor a couple months ago. We're cranking out about 40 reels a week. One guy, that's his max. He works 40 hours a week. So to do a reel with the B-roll, the movements, the captions, the fonts, all that cool stuff you see a lot of these online influencers have, we offer that as an in-house service. You guys think it sounds pretty complicated, but a videographer, if you were to pay for a video like that, it's typically about $50 to even $75 for like that full B-roll. The cost for us as a team to do it, it's about $6 an hour. So every video costs us about $6. And then it's gotten so well that we now hired 2 more video editors this week. So now we have 3 video editors. And the way we work with our team is they submit the information through a type form. It's like a Google form, a Jot form, whatnot, but we still use type form. Submit the information on what they want, open house reel, new listing reel, or talking heads. We're mostly doing talking heads. Talking here real, where then after you send it to the system, it'll kick you out a link to, I think either Dropbox or Google Drive. We actually use both. I'm not clear, but just as assume we use Dropbox. It'll give you a link for your Dropbox. You upload your videos in there. The editor gets it, and then they chop it up and they distribute it to you, I think, in Google Drive. So that, and then you post it online. So we have a queue list of probably like 60 videos right now we're going to have, and adding 2 new video editors. So it goes back to the first part of social media. And that we just hired this guy a couple months ago. So even prior to this, our agents are doing a lot of social media, but now we're really putting on steroids. So ideally, within the next month or so, we're cranking out over at least 100 reels a week. And then we're gonna work on getting like a TV show. Someone follows us around doing that. You guys, again, if you guys want to see some of the stuff we created, you can follow me at Kenny_Fast. You can see the tag session to see our team members. Some of the stuff that we've done to recruit is like the brick and mortar locations are pretty big for us. 2 years ago in August, we only had 1 office. We got our first brick and mortar in the city of Brentwood, California, in Contra Costa, Northern California. Prior to that, we were just working from co-working spaces. So having brick and mortar does help a lot. We calculated that about 45% of our agents are actively in the offices, and through our network here, agents are kind of traveling between the offices, so they're not tied to one location. That's really, really helped us grow. You guys know like the geographic landscape here of the Bay Area. You'll just give some examples. Someone in Sacramento, that's an hour and a half north of me, can introduce us to an agent that lives in San Francisco, which is 30 minutes west of me. If I can know someone in Brentwood, that's like an hour, 20 minutes. Oh, actually, we're as far as Stockton. So someone in San Francisco can introduce us to an agent over in Stockton. So having more offices has definitely helped a lot. We have roughly an office you can go to every half hour, and every office is on a Bluetooth key access. And it's kind of cool too for agent attraction. I'm supporting some teams in my marketplace. To give you an example, we have a very large team that came over to ESP about a year ago. They had 10 agents, but now they're above 50 agents, and they're doing over 200 transactions a year. And the Davis team uses my Hercules location more than my team does. They have weekly meetings there. They have client appreciation events and such. And then now we're doing this whole Bill Pipes Monday Mayhem thing. We're trying to get it running, but they have it set up pretty well. They have about 40 agents in the offices Monday mornings from 8 to 4, and they're just making calls nonstop. So having that is pretty cool, because now we're also sending a lot of our team members to their team stuff, but they're hosting it. Another one of my business partners here in the Bay Area is named Lauren McLean, a big producer here. Strong bots babe leader. She actually started this new group called Catalyst Collective. They had a launch party last week. Like tons of people came up. And then she's also holding this thing called the LFG Weekly Accountability Group. They're on the 3rd week right now. So open to all people, all brands. So mostly realtors, lenders and such, where they have a checklist of accountability, health, recruiting or brand awareness, meeting clients who work out. So they partner up with different people. So that group, I was there yesterday. I saw about, I believe 25 people were there Wednesday for that event. So my business partner, ESP, network business partner, now is holding this event. A couple of my agents attend that event. So we're leveraging, and then all of the promotion and the invites to that event is all done through social media. And And then like the Monday Mayhem thing I just referenced, Bill Davis, they're just putting their stats on their wall. You guys should follow Bill Davis. How many appointments they said. I think last week they said like 90 appointments or something pretty crazy. So the leverage of partnering with your ESP partners, tying in with the power of social media and using the events, and then using the office spaces tied into one. So we're really, no other company is barely tapping into any of those things step by step. Now we have that like in a big bubble so people can kind of go for everything. Some stuff that we used to do or have done less frequently now is we used to award our top 3 units for each month and top 3 units each month and top 3 volume each month. And then depending, volume is more important. So if someone ties, then we take the next 3 units. So our top 6 agents, we were doing monthly top producer dinners at our office. We kind of escalated that service, that event. We had like cooking our own foods through sushi, or we brought in like paella, live music band, but it was too hard to hold it every month. So what we've done now is we're actually making it every quarter. But on those events, our last one we had like about 24 people, and then we cooked sushi for everyone. My brother's a chef. We let the agents who are top producers all bring 1 guest. They're usually ideally bringing in someone that's pretty high level, like a broker owner or a team leader. Again, way to introduce people to our environment and eat a fancy meal. And let me see. Outside that, all the stuff that we mentioned, we did like the coaching calls, our team meetings. Our team meetings are open to anyone to come on Tuesdays. Everything's recorded. So everything's recorded and it's placed on YouTube. So what happens is agents who kind of discover us online, if you guys looked at my Instagram, you can see all the stuff on Linktree. They discover us, they kind of learn more about us, and they spend hours and hours down the rabbit hole to just like us more and more. And that's been really huge for us for that. You guys want to check out like an overview and more stuff of what our team does that you can replicate, I would recommend going to jointeamfast.com. It's constantly updated, but it has our office locations. It has a link to all of our team meetings. It has our 30 staff organizational charts. It has my YouTube stuff on there. We kind of break it down. And so it's really important to kind of showcase who you are. The hard part about recruiting to EXP or recruiting to yourself is you're putting all your eggs in one basket and hoping to sell yourself in that maybe half-hour call you might have with someone, or the three-way call might be longer. But if you're trying to spiel like I am everything that you have to someone, it's really hard for them to understand it and get it. It might be too much overload. So what we've done is just putting all of our assets, all the stuff we've done out there for people to discover. This week alone, I've had 9 different, since Monday is Friday right now, I've had 9 different agents reach out to me to join EXP. 7 of them are for my team. And the social media is huge. I forgot to mention that social media recruiting content is huge, but I probably post, not probably, I average about 50 stories a day. And I know it seems like a lot, but I post all kinds of stuff. So 2 months back to back, I do about 50 stories a day. So 1,500, 1,600 stories a day. But it's really screenshotting articles, giving your insight. I subscribe to a lot of stuff that other people don't subscribe and want to pay for. Like I subscribe to a local newspaper, which sounds outdated, but I get articles that no one else is reading. I subscribe to Inman, The Real Deal. Just signed up for Wall Street Journal a couple weeks ago. RIS Media, Real Estate News. So I'm the go-to person for information on building your business or the day-to-day news for a lot of people. On top of that, I probably travel to conferences about 120 to 150 days a year. I speak at many of them, and I'll record people speaking on stage, and then on my Instagram stories, and I'll cut captions and add the captions to it. So I get people free training without them going to the locations. And then if I do take pages and pages of notes, like I have at like a Tom Ferry event or a Chet Black event or Build conference, I had like 8 pages of notes from Build conference. Then I'll reach out to all my ESP business partners and non-partners. Say, hey, I had some really great notes about recruiting and really great notes about leadership, marketing, and such. So I make it kind of like our Slack channel, but they're in there already. But I make an effort to bring the information that I learned in real estate to other people. And over the years, that's really what has helped me grow my network. So currently I have my ESP network. I have about 596 people. I think I have 90 FLAs and about 51 FLQA. From the FLQAs, 25 is on my team. From the 596-ish people in my whole ESP network, about 200 is in my team. So I still have 400 people that aren't part of a group. This is really, really just taking all the resources you have, getting people into your space, and not in your space, you bring the information you have to those people. And the more value you can bring, because everyone says value, but like these are actually things they can take away and improve their business on. So over time, it compounds. And then like one strategy too with EXP, like don't be sad. Like don't ever try to make someone join EXP is key. Just keep providing value. What you really want to do is make you the person they want to join if they were to join EXP. Too many people are trying to close on someone or push them over. It's not that much different from working with a buyer or seller that's not quite ready yet. There's only so many times you can follow up with someone until you become annoying. I personally do almost no follow-up. I have a pipeline. I do have a spreadsheet. I haven't updated in like over half a year, but I have a hit list spreadsheet of like 150 people that I want to recruit a company. And I once in a while I tap in with them. But honestly, like with the amount of social media and content you're putting out, and then you have stalkers and fans and all that. Now my strategy this week has changed a lot. I don't know if you guys seen the new Instagram algorithm. They're really pushing close friends group, the notes above. Instagram is really pushing for people to be more social within groups, exclusive profiles that only you and your friends can see. Those that go back and forth. So they're really making that social. So the more you can be online and not trying to be an influencer, not just make educational content that makes you look cool and you're actually engaging and talking to people. I think that's a challenge a lot of people have. They're trying to make content for a huge following, but really just diving deep in your relationships and friends. So I started posting a lot of stuff in my close friends list that now this week that I wouldn't share with the public about commissions, how I won this appointment, what I'm doing right now, what this client said to me without saying the address and name. So these are things a little more personal and somewhat private without going too deep. So now I have a close friend group that I'm nurturing. So the people I want to recruit to the company and my existing team members and future business partners, now I'm adding close friend groups so you can get more information from me directly, which builds more rapport, which builds a stronger pipeline, and probably will have them want to come to more of our events. Sorry for a long ramble, but that's it for me.